G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag previewing finals day at Flemington HQ rails in the True, Peter?
Yes.
I believe it's the True. We've got Josh and Jonathan joining us today. Thanks for being here, boys. Powered by puntingform.com.au, sectional database. We all use it, you should too. Betfair.com.au. You get the best odds and hydrated by Goat Lager, except Jonathan and Peter hydrated by Dilmah, is it?
Green tea.
Whatever I found in the bottom of the cupboard here at Pete's joint.
Oh.
We'll get to the aliens, and he's also got another conspiracy theory for us in a little bit. We'll knock over some viewer questions first off the top. What was that question we had this morning, boys?
It was from Anthony about quality handicaps, I believe.
Yeah. So
min weight being 56.
All races are qualities. With the min 56 kilos, no apprentices can claim. Suits the horse at the top of the weights more? Question mark. No one gets in light, or you treat every race on its merits, boys. Any thoughts for Anthony here?
Well, it's finals day, hence there's no claiming jockeys, and the weights have gone from 54 to 56 due to COVID. So it's sort of this is a different kind of finals day. Next year they'll be back to 54 and 60 kilos as the top weights. So the handicap scale, it suits proven horses, I suppose, more than the...
Yep.
Yeah, it's winter time. It's different in spring.
Each race on its merits.
Yeah.
But there's not as big a spread, so the better horses are
Probably
better
have to be careful on horses also that coming off a win, if they've had an apprentice claim on, their handicap will have been put up. That's how handicapping works.
Yeah.
And then if they've had an apprentice last start, it's like a double whammy because they're copying double the weight because the apprentice can't claim this start if the apprentice is riding.
Yeah.
It's each race on
which
its merits, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so
Which
it's
is why
good even playing field. But yeah, like if the horse hasn't proven with a big weight, then you probably want to, if you play into weight factors, maybe the sprints and things like that.
Well, that's why I thought we'd ask the question, because Josh is very astute with the weights and the handicaps and probably goes down the table in order of gives a shit about it, to be honest.
Oh,
You'd care for it?
I care for the jockeys. I'd much rather put 5 kilos on a horse and a senior rider than a cripple apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What apprentices do you like that?
I'm not allowed to do that because as soon as I say one, they'll go out and ride a Melbourne Cup winner.
No.
So I'll just keep on laying and potting the ones in my
Which
own...
apprentices are you a fan of at the moment, boys?
Oh, Will Price is riding as good as anyone in the country.
Stockdale's, I think, the best at the moment.
Stockdale's been around for a long time, though.
Guy's going good.
What do we think of Carleen Heffel? We
Rides winners.
Need to give her a ride.
She beats the...
in the city.
I think fascinated to see what this Lockie Nightoff does.
Yeah, when he was
Got a
riding
bit
in
lost.
Adelaide, he was bloody good.
I think you need to give him, say, a month. Even like
He got
the...
lost
Pattern
yesterday,
racing.
didn't he?
Even like the Dean
Shaz
Law,
said.
Rod, Newitt, even those experienced veterans who came back because of COVID, it took them 2 or 3 weeks to sort of get into the groove of it.
Rod's a proper jockey.
Yeah, but he didn't ride a winner probably till last week before.
Yeah, but they've got to put him on the right horses.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
the same thing's going to happen for Lockie. That's
Probably
what I mean.
Singapore racing is very different to...
Theodore
to
Nugent's
Australian.
still a good little rider.
Yeah, I think he's a good rider. Anyone else we missed? Good work, Peter. Now, we're going to quickly talk about the change of tactics rule just quickly to get it out of the way because it was erupted on Twitter. And I had a question, we had another question on how we use punting form. So if you want to pause the video, open up your punting form. I'm going to do race 2 yesterday at Sandown very briefly. I'm going to look at just speed mapping the race. So this is essentially how any punter would get an opinion or get upset about a change of tactics because they do a speed map, and if the horses are ridden different to the way you thought they were going to be mapped, then you might get upset. So the horse we're going to focus on is number 4, Azar. First, it's a second ever start, so there's no real pattern identified. But as one and only start, the horse settled 9th of 10 horses. There's nothing in the steward's report to suggest that it missed the start or there was any excuse for where it was in run. They went extremely slow to the 600, so it wasn't I know it was a 1,000-metre race, but there was no speed in the race. So from my point of view, when I go to map this race, this horse starts in the back half of the field for me, just off that. Then I watch the market and I see there's good support coming for that horse. It's on Sandown Lakeside, which is probably going to be 8 times out of 10 on pace suited. So if there's money coming for this horse, second ever start, yes, it's a good form race it's coming from, but that's going to be intent. And it's drawn inside. So it's probably going to be intent. So you move the horse forward. I had the horse just better than midfield on my map. I didn't have it as 1-1 because I think I assumed that they would ride for intent.
Because you're at the lakeside.
Because I'm at the lakeside and there's money come. But when they've taught the horse to be cold first start, just because they want to be positive, often they try to be positive and the horse isn't positive because it's not what the horse has been taught. My point, I guess, is if we're bringing in someone new to the sport, like someone who doesn't understand horse racing but has money and wants to bet, which is what the whole industry needs, how confusing is this rule?
Oh, the rule's confusing. The Maiden's probably not a good example. I reckon you can go back a couple of years when Michael Walker rode one of Waller's at Caulfield, and the stewards called him in and they said, oh, you didn't advise that you'd change your tactics. And he said, well, do you want me to win or not?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I couldn't win from back there, so why wouldn't I go forward on the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rule is stupid, but because the rule exists,
yeah,
it turns like jockeys and trainers like that example into like a half a cheat for making a great decision.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He goes,
but because the rule's there though, when someone's coming into the sport, it's just more confusion to a very hard thing to understand.
It's got to be played two ways. It's either got to be, when the blokes nominate these horses, like, would it be hard to have 4 comments or something that the trainer puts down next to the horse on the morning of the race or something like that? I don't know. But
no, it should be like when you accept on a race, when you're clicking to accept on the race.
Oh, you can't. You're not going to know till you do the speed maps yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at some point they just need to say, we settled second last on debut. If we jump, like they don't have to say we're going to lead.
No.
If we jump well, we're going to be positive.
Wish to be positive.
Which is complete utter noise. It doesn't mean anything.
The rules probably doesn't need to be.
It probably just doesn't need to be there.
That's my point. The rule should go.
I think they should just clarify. Like they don't have it in a lot of countries around the world. So why do we have it here? What's it changing? Is it something to do with the integrity? I'm sure you could. The integrity's probably gotten worse because of this, because of all the punters now getting annoyed with it.
And it's a distraction. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. And you're waiting for the change of tactics on a runner. You don't get them. You get the market support. Then you get Racing New South Wales, and they'll tweet out 2 minutes before the jump, saying this thing's. I've seen it multiple times in the last 2 to 3 weeks on Twitter. 2 minutes before the jump, everyone's invested already. The price is gone. Someone knows from this.
Yeah.
Clearly, there could be someone also with intel that's getting inside information that they're going to push forward on a runner. So it's just no good. Leave it out.
Yeah, I'm frustrated from growing the sport point of view, but from a point of view of you at home, if you are betting more often, like you're into the sport, the market is a much better guide to intent than the stewards notifying you via Twitter that the stable's notified.
The biggest problem about this rule, I've got no problems with horses changing tactics to try. I've got more problems with the horses changing tactics that they can't.
Oh, like Caulfield last week, there was 2 or 3 that will be attempt to be ridden with cover.
Which basically
it's
says
like,
we're pulling you
it's
up.
a complete on-pace bias, disgraceful deck in regard to like a fair racing track, and you've basically just said this is a trial.
Yeah. So how do you go about that? So if you've got something, single figures, and they go, oh, we're gonna cop the sit and go back, is that pulling them up? And then who's laying them, and who's moving the markets? It's a very murky situation.
Yep.
But anyway, so to do with punting forms, just to finish off on how I'd use it, you can go scroll through a field and you can see the position in run they sat on your punting form screen, and you can start to build your speed map from that.
I actually use the drop down boxes with the times. So I prefer the 200 metre splits personally.
Perfect.
Because they can sit. Obviously, if you're going from the country and whatever else, and it might say leading, but it's leading with 12 seconds, 12 and a half, and that. Well, it's not going to lead in the city, is it? So you can amalgamate the two, look over it first, and then use the drop down box and go to the times.
I think when you get deeper into it, you then start to adjust for jockeys and for trainers from certain alleys. Like Waller outside going to go back, Waller inside probably going to try and push up.
Yeah, there's probably methods to that if you have some.
Waterhouse just goes forward at all cost.
How good?
And with the Azar example, the first run was over 1,000. Leading over 1,000 is completely different to leading over 1,300 and pushing forward.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a slight scale maybe that you think if you work it in your head, like 1,000 metres, if they've settled, just off midfield, then there could be midfield or better over 1,300 yesterday. So probably saying with a good alley and a good jockey, then you probably want to factor that into your maps as well, just to be careful, because it's not going to be the same over each distance.
Which is what we're trying to say is we expected the horse to race similar to how it raced. It's just that the rule makes it great.
Yep.
The bigger shock in the race for me was Craig Williams on Not a Zach, not leading. Awful. Filthy. Anyway.
So I had to go and down your Zorros with 2 bottles of red.
Yeah, and then I watched a bit of Ancient Aliens.
Good work,
I got
mate.
through 2.5 episodes. So we're going to get on the aliens quickly before we start. 2.5 episodes in, a lot of it is very odd, and the blokes speaking have like weird earrings and
They're
like,
fucking weirdos.
Hair straighteners and stuff like that. But there was one point. What was the point I mentioned? The rocks.
The Carnic stones,
The
isn't it?
Carnic stones somewhere in Europe. That got me thinking a bit. I'm starting to be a bit of a believer. I certainly think there's a lot more credibility to aliens existing than to Jesus Christ existing.
Jesus Christ was an alien. We've gone through this. He's a god. Like the gods were aliens. You didn't go further into it.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Just lead him into that. All right, race 5 at Flemington Finals. It's over down the straight, 1,200 metres. It's a good race. This some nice horses. Peter, can we just completely discount number 1 Great Again unless it absolutely pisses down?
No, I think it'll be soft enough. Then there'll be some rain around, especially if there's rain during the race. That was the way I was landing in this race. Thought we could forgive last start. Wasn't suited versus the day. Didn't end up in a position where they would have been happy there. I think it draws to get the best part of the track here from 10. Rod on, positive jockey change. We talked about him just before. We saw it won really well down the straight first start here in Victoria. That's the horse that I'm pretty keen to be following to this race. I thought if there was one of the closers that was entitled to go pretty well, it was Rich Charm. But I'm happy to have a crack at Great Again here.
Josh, what do you got?
I thought the jockey placement of Malibu's style with Ollie going on is massive. This horse loves the Flemington Straight. Whether or not it's probably too deep into this prep, I'm not too sure, but at the price, $13, I'm happy to take it. I feel like the SP profile might be even shorter with probably not as good jockeys on as Ollie. Gets the outside draw. Tabasan, I think, will be the one that will be hard to beat. For me, I'd have that favourite over I Am Someone, but at the price, probably not taking it. Lord Von Costa, well in as well. Craig still sits. This horse is going pretty well, loves the straight.
Loves the straight.
But for me, it's probably around that. Milwaukee, scary over gate 1, given a little bit of rain around in Fury part of the track, but also loves the straight. One of those races where they've all got straight form, and it's hard to knock them. But for me, Malibu style at the price.
I could. I'm going with the 3 horses that all had issues in the run last start, which is Rich Charm, which found a similar brick wall to that Milwaukee found. They all just did not get clear running at all in the straight and a crack at them. And High Stranger copped a massive check in that 3-year-old race, and they're talking up how big of run the front page was. Well, High Stranger
Was as good.
Well, it wasn't as good, but it would
The
have
run
finished.
had as much merit.
Oh, it had a heap of merit. When they get knocked over like that and it kept finding on the line, I like those horses. I'm not discounting it at odds, but yeah, Rich Charm and Milwaukee on top. If they all go to the outside rail, Milwaukee the barrier 1 might not be that big a disadvantage. It'll just suck in behind them and could peel out to the
I
left.
think this size field, rail true, inside's probably better. Well, it's certainly not, in my mind, it's not a massive disadvantage. In this, there's no horses here.
No.
They've all got like 3 metres of fresh air each if they wanted.
I could back 3 horses in this race if the odds allow. With Milwaukee and High Stranger are both going to be close to double figures, and Rich Charm on its best form is the best horse in this race. It won down the straight Cup Day.
I agree.
Cup week.
I agree, but I just feel like it's sort of priced like it's done it, and it
Priced
hasn't
like
done
it's
it for a while.
Was huge second up.
It's probably the first horse I found when I did the form here, but $6, $5.50 seems short. So I just found the race too hard to suggest betting into it, because even like we haven't mentioned Snitzcraft, it's pretty consistently running good races.
Good splits last start as well.
Like I agree. I'm probably, if I had to pick 2, it'd be Milwaukee and Lord Von Costa. But I just find I'm someone like we're getting half the price like it was last start because it won. We were with it then. Feel like I got money there. That'll be enough for me. What's the next race, Peter?
We'll go to race 7 over
Seven.
the 1,600 metres. Synthetic Held. Speed map. That's what you usually say.
Yeah, sorry, mate. This is a big race. There's a lot of angles
Fat
here.
race.
Well, I think this is Thursday. There's a lot of horses still in. I think Barossa Kier stands ready. Charlie surely goes forward from 17. They can't sneak again here. Smoke Bomb's got good speed when it jumps. Maserati Bay and this Lindsay Smith horse Garimpo. How am I saying that, Peter?
I've got no idea.
I think Grinzinger Ali will be pretty positive from 2. Who wants to go?
No, it's a wrap.
I'll go.
Oh.
I wanted to find Alphaville. But, yeah, I thought it was a big price. Then I look at the speed map. I think it's going to be a strong run race. I think it's going to run a good race, this thing, but I just don't like the map enough to want to bet. Charlize is a horse I love, and I'll probably end up specking if I bet into the race. But the main horse I think is worth backing here is Grinzinger Ali. Looks like it's nicely set up to peak here. Gets a soft draw. Mellon, if he just pings and just jumps and puts it into the race, he'll be no worse in midfield. Rail true. He should be able to get out and get a good go. Big straight. I think Grinzinger Ali is the best each way bet. Walking Flying. Hard to knock what it's been doing recently, but I think the lack of early speed in barrier 1 sees it sort of well worse in midfield on the fence, which is a bigger risk than midfield fence. Down to horses though like Barbie's Fox and No Change, right down the bottom of the market. I think they're both capable of winning.
Yeah, I found Grinzinger Ali as well for a lot of the reasons you said. I don't think the horse was suited last start as well.
Probably not all prep.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought just given the map, it probably profiles to sit more forward here. Mellon obviously sticking like that. And it's just been running, if you look at the punting form data, it's just got some really strong figures over the mile. So for me, I was happy to have that horse as a play. And then, as you've already mentioned, a couple of those roughies at a bigger price. Alphaville, obviously the draw's a little bit sticky, but respect Willow, and he'll probably be able to extricate it at some point. And then No Change, that was the other horse that I thought was running good enough splits. Looks like the mile will be suitable. Wasn't suited again last start. So those were the 3 I was looking to play around.
No Change could get a really good, really good
5.
mat. Like if Poi pings, and
Yeah.
he could be sort of midfield.
Wouldn't surprise.
And if you're on track, you'd be sort of neutralising him in play.
And how confident are you that Charlize is going forward? I know it gets blinkers on, and there's a jockey change there as well. It wasn't suited last
Well, they're
start.
the biggest stable in the country.
We'll ask for the stewards report.
Yeah, can we ask for it pre-race?
Yeah, change of tactics.
Or
It would be a change of... See, would that be a change of tactics if Charlize goes forward?
What?
Surely. Surely.
But it's usually
Led in a maiden over 1,200
Yeah.
metres, so
it's been midfield on pace.
I don't know. Like if it,
Okay, well, I'm saying it goes forward.
it hasn't shown it this prep, so
I'm saying goes back.
We're just going to be positive out of the barrier, and where the horse is comfortable, we're going to
Yeah.
put it.
Josh?
I think it goes back.
Okay, so 1, 2, fence sitting.
Fence sitting, yeah. But you know what? Without blowing too much wind up your backside, Dicko, these races...
You don't like all this.
No, this is... If we're back on track,
Yeah.
you could see physically which horse was primed for this race, because there's a lot of them with a chance. Is it their grand final? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
And they're younger horses too, if
and
they're sweating up or
Two
playing
more
up.
factors for us on course is the yard, but it's the 7th race,
The
so
pattern.
we've got a real good idea of the pattern, and the way that the rain's come if it has come. Because if the field stays as big as it is, there will be horses
There'll be
like
lanes.
Alphaville that could likely, because it's got Craig on, get a really nice toe 3 wide.
Yep.
I don't want to be on Alphaville if it sort of thins out and he's still 3 wide and got to make all the work.
Yeah,
But if it stays this big field, he'll get
gets a
towed
card
in.
into the race.
You're a big Salika fan, I think, Jet.
Yeah, it was.
Couldn't find it here. Probably not the right.
Just not at the
jockey, so-
price.
But the thing,
From 13.
going back to the yard, you've got colts, geldings, and fillies here too. Like if they're coltish in the yard with, there's a lot of factors that, unfortunately,
you can't get
Comrade
anything
Dan
off.
has
You
cost
can't
us.
get anything off the TV. Racing.com's given up on the yard, which is their call. I'm giving up, blowing up about it. I respect their decisions.
No, you don't.
Well, I respect it's their right to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And especially in a big field like this, it's kind of like I had a guy talk about change of tactics yesterday, and they said, "Oh, Ben Hayes said that they'd try and go forward." it's like if you get one piece of information from one trainer, or you see 4 horses out of 14, it just confuses you more than. You need to see the whole picture.
Yeah, you want all or nothing.
So I'll stop watching them.
Josh, for yourself?
I think over the sky for me. I'll take the risk with Mick D from a wide gate. I think it could probably get 3 wide cover, and then be surging late. It's got a massive turn of foot. For those people that are asking on the show about looking at punting form for form, if you've got punting form, do yourself a favour, go to this horse over the sky, look at its data on its first run. I'm not going to say it on the show because I want everyone to get into punting form. But that turn of foot, even though it's a very slow pace, you'll see that it's got a massive last 600. It splits elite, and that's a big.
That's a big pearl he's just given away too.
Yeah,
so that wasn't on the rundown.
You can probably like follow those through the grades too. So that's what you want to see in a horse, but that's just one little edge that.
Yeah, and I think like sort of what Josh is saying. That's how you could have found Alphaville at Moonee Valley. It's coming off a synthetic win.
Yep.
But it savaged it.
Yep.
And it had no favours there.
Yep.
And it ran a huge race at Moonee Valley.
Yep.
Race 8, 600 metres. There's a Simfold. Up comes the speed map after that. Plain Seal's favourite from Heptagon, then Shot of Irish. Those 3 sort of hold the top of the market equally, just about. Good speed here, boys and girls. Proper speed. I found this quite difficult to map in the sort of sections of the leaders, the midfield and the back here.
It'd be nice if Holbein comes out, just to make things a little bit easier.
If Holbein came out, then it gets easier. If Sir Coney, Shot of Irish, or Holbein come out, then it's easy. But I think Sir Coney's going to have to cross from 16, and these 2 want to lead too. This could be one of those races at Flemington where 3 of them kick, one kicks heaps further in front, then they all just cram right back up. When that happens, I want to be on horses midfield, one off, building good momentum as the leaders are slowing. So I'm going to ignore Sir Coney, Shot of Irish and Holbein. And I think this race sets up really nicely for Never Again. Ollie, barrier 4. It's a really deep race. But Never Again wasn't suited last start. I think it's best suited at Flemington. It's got the best rider on. It's got a really good gate for a good rider. I think I couldn't sort of talk anyone out of most horses in this race, even horses like Rejovic, who's a track specialist, but just drawn 18 and the price sort of scared me off. But I can make a case for all of them, but you don't want to listen to me talk about every horse. So who's got another one?
I was happy at the price to have something on Rakovic again, like get the positive jock change. Wasn't suited versus the day last start. As you said, good figures at Flemington.
Loves Flemington.
Yeah, it just ticks a few boxes. And again, like you want to, by this stage, you actually want to have an idea of if they're winning in those wider channels out into the straight. Sometimes rail true, it's more like the inside, say 4 to 6 lanes you want to be in. So I'll be analysing that throughout the day. If that's the case, I'll be leaning towards Aishin Rook as well at the price. I thought that horse...
Suck run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was no money for it last start. Again, this is a stable that I really am keen to get an idea of if there's any money around for it. We saw yesterday with Shazad. It was absolutely friendless.
How heavy was that drift?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you could have... we've seen the stable drift before and when it's Sandown. I can't remember what the horse is called. It was in the had like the pink hat.
I remember what it was.
But
$3 out to $5.50.
Yeah, exactly.
We were on the...
Yeah.
This is why the change of tactics is the complete biggest ever grab of all time. We were on Meninga, who won for us yesterday again, at like $14. It started $5 favourite.
Yeah.
It was for the Dream Thoroughbred Silks.
Yeah, exactly. I can't
Drawn
remember
wide. Zara, the horse is friendless. He's going to sneak this to last. Sat outside the lead and just beat us.
Yeah. So the entire market was
Sickening.
basically reading the line. Yeah. Aishin Rook, I thought if there's any sort of market support, I'd be happy to have something on that. They drifted last start. I'm expecting it probably firms here. So those are the 2 at a bigger price. Never Again goes okay at the track. I just had a few queries if it starts getting real sort of soft and wet. It has, on paper, okay figures, but on the data, it's not necessarily a great wet horse. But, I guess they're big enough odds that you can play a few.
I've got a bet for the team here. I'll have a case of anyone. Josh will hate Rejovic. I have a case of it.
No, I'm not taking that. It's carrying 62 kilos.
Yeah, and a wide gate.
62, from the wide gate. But it has one at the track on a wet surface. Its peak figure.
Lindsay's flying too, I reckon.
Uncle Lindsay.
He's flying.
Uncle Lindsay?
Yeah.
Okay.
But some of the ones in the market, not for me. Definitely Plain Sale, Shot of Irish after that sort of duel they had last start. Heptagon, probably not for me with the weight as well, again. Can't really find much, but maybe with all the pace in the race, Vacillator gets a chance here. Interesting runner, Noble Boy. It has the True Detective form last start up in Sydney, which is huge.
Wasn't suited then either.
Wasn't suited.
Yeah.
Got through the going really nice. If you get a bit more rain, and it's probably, I think it'll drift. I don't think anyone's going to find it massively because of its 1600 metre query. It doesn't sort of run it out. But for me, they were two probably excuse runs. So probably worth a bet if it gets out to double figures, I think, for me.
Jonathan, have you gone?
No, I haven't. This I always like this, right? You get all the winter horses over the 1600 every year.
Would you agree that Shot of Irish will probably take a sit with Walker on? You've got a good read on Walker.
Nah,
If Sokoni wants to go and Holbein wants to go, I reckon he'll probably give it to him.
Yeah, Holbein's drawing 3, so that's going to get up inside him. Sokoni's drawing out wider, and it had the 2,000 metre run last start, which I could not believe how strong Sokoni ran out the 2,000 metres for a horse.
Thank God it didn't run it all out.
It's one of my it's in my 5 all-time favourite horses, Sokoni, in terms of winning cash. It's actually probably number 1. It was
This is the 90,000 multi.
It was the last leg of that multi, and it won by a photo as a 3-year-old. And then it won at Caulfield one day, first up at $21.
Yeah, it knocked off a good horse.
Yeah, I got the real greasy.
It might have been Nature Strip.
No, you're thinking of Sam's Image. I think it beat it. It had the same colours.
So Kane knocked off a good horse that day, though.
Yeah, but I was on it both, on it for the win and laid the favourite sort of thing. But I was astounded. But barrier 16 is going to hurt. I thought Plain Seal just gets can sit wherever it needs to. If Darren and Weir was training her, which she used to, like they thought this horse was going to be a group horse. Now O'Brien's got it up and going again. It might be a bit shorter in the market because one of the owners used to bet like the Watsons in there, and bet up big, and he probably still is. I haven't seen him for a while, but Plain Seal's the one for me, which sort of just maps, and winning last start was good. Third up. I'm not completely discounting Mr. Marathon Man at like massive odds either. It's just one of those horses that could throw something up. But track pattern, I think Plain Seal's
bomb-proof for track pattern.
For track pattern, yeah.
Oh, that's what I think with Never Again.
So, Mr. Marathon Man, I'll be having something on probably regardless because it'll be big odds.
Race 9, up comes the synth hold, and here comes the speed map. This race is over the 1,400 metres. It closes out the card. I found this race pretty difficult to map. There's a lot of speed here, a stack of speed. Splinter in the Grass backs up off a big effort last week. Liel backs up off a complete barrier trial. That was a change of tactics. There was zero intent. It went that weak that so if it backs up here in that yard, it's probably going to explode. Big setup job. Beauty Bolt's flying. Kurame was good when not suited last start. I think the horse that's a bet here is number 11, Power Boom. I loved its run last week. It backs up. It goes from an outside gate where it was not suited with the way the day raced to an inside draw here, which if it does rain, I might sound like an idiot now on Thursday because it's drawn 2. It probably lands in a coffin, box seat. I think it's a really good play each way in the last. Number 11, Power Boom. Pistol?
Splendor on the Grass was like just a massive flashing light, and it wasn't suited versus the day, but I think this is one of those where it's just so obvious it is just a bet. It maps pretty well for me. The second favourite, Cordilla, is going to be a little bit cast from 16, I think, and although it's different forms, pretty good. I'm more than happy to side with Splendor on the Grass. And then the horse I thought that had a bit of X factor was Windfall for Gate 1 for Mellon Dwyer. So I'll have something on that at the price. But this just might be one of those where, it's just so obvious it's the way you're going to roll with it.
What'd you make of number 12?
Karina.
Yeah.
I didn't find it necessarily. So
Anyone else find that?
Hard to have.
I've half found that too.
Yeah,
Jonathan?
I've had a look at this race. The 1,400 metres, the wide barriers are historically have a poor record because they jump onto the turn. Ocean Miss should get a relatively easy, rolling up front. It did run in better races last year. It's double figure odds. I found it. I also found Kurame because it can unleash a reasonably good run. I'd happily back Kurame and Ocean Miss at the big odds. Splendor in the grass I found, and obviously Beauty Bolt. It's a strange sort of setup. Graham Begg, I reckon, is a good trainer. It's got a decent barrier and stays at 1400. It'll be running on, but
it's a really hard horse to profile.
Yeah, I mean it's run fourth in the Oaks.
I know, but now it's at 400.
Yeah, but it's run at 1400. Should have won.
1400. Yeah, it's won. I'm pretty sure it's won first up at 1400. Like it's quite a versatile. She's a pretty.
No, it's never won at 400.
It's a redoubt's choice out of an Incosta. It would have cost a fortune to buy.
It won at 1300 first up this prep. So it'll clearly like the 1400.
Yeah, I'll be working around Splendor in the grass Beauty Bolt, but I'll be backing both Kurame and Ocean Miss because they're just big odds. And if it's slightly leaderish by that time of day, Ocean Miss comes into it.
More so.
I think it's got the... Yeah, when you say there's a lot of speed in the race, I thought it would sort of roll along, pretty close to the top without too much hassle.
I think it leads.
Yeah, that's what roll along close to the top without too much hassle.
Yeah, but there's a stack of horses that might go, look, it's you can't win from the back today, I'm going to go forward here. There's a lot of horses with some early speed, but not no speed.
It's not
which can set up for him to go for it and it goes real fast.
It's not a noted... You haven't even got any real noted leaders in this race, I reckon. But no, that's my take on that race.
Josh?
I was hoping here Splendor in Grass was going to go up, $8 or something, but at the price, I clearly just can't have it. I love the quick backup with that flashing light run. It gets every chance back to its trained on course with Hayes Davenig. Probably the one that I was interested with is Cordelia because it's going to get they'll probably be both relatively similar position in the run, but Cordelia might get to the outside nicely with Ollie on, wind up down the outside. Her win a couple starts back
was pretty impressive.
That one at Pakenham was...
Previous start she went forward and led.
Yeah, she was probably ridden upside down that first run. Got it to settle, and she's clearly going to enjoy a bit further, I reckon. Beauty Bolt, one of my favourites, but scary here what they do from the gate. They could push forward, but at the price, I'm sort of just leaving it. Paul's Regret, I'm interested on the backup.
Tricky map, isn't it? But it's a good horse.
Oh, no, it's not on the backup. I thought the way it got through the line at Moonee Valley behind Kalkani Royal, obviously Felicia coming second in that race was pretty nice form line. Billy Egan goes on here, who is still flying, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think anyone's going to be flying on a horse that's got moderate speed from 13. He's going to have to either use it up or slow it down.
Yeah, but I think the ones that I want to be on are the 3 wide trail line. Cadilla and possibly Paul's Regret for me.
All right, best bets and value bets, boys. My best is race 8, number 15, Never Again. My value bets, I'm going to Dutch a few in the last here. I want to have something on number 4, Kurame, just a small winning result. A good winning result on number 12, Karina, and the biggest winning result on number 11, Power Boom, and I want to save on number 3, Liao. I think it's just a Mick Kent setup this, and I want to be on the the non-great upside of the result if he does pull this out. And I'm going to lay again this Cafe Tortino in race, is it 3? Yeah, Cherry Tortino, number 1, race 3. I think it was utterly blessed by the race shape, and I'm happy to sort of back a bunch of them to sort of roll it here.
You just put a rocket up that horse's ass.
Yeah, it's completely and utterly blessed. I might be wrong, but
right up. No, I'm happy to back. I'm happy to back Carlton to beat St Kilda at even money or better tonight.
Yes.
Go Blues. I reckon they race 2. They might have sort of got the market back to front. Lord Belvedere 360 and Chapada 290. I thought Lord Belvedere might have still had a couple of lengths improvement in it. The 4th run up as opposed to Chapada 6.
It SP 18 versus it SP 4 last start.
Yeah, but that doesn't really faze me too much. It has it's 2,500 metre record at Flemington is 100%, so it could keep it at 100%. But I'm happy to back Lord Belvedere. Could probably back High Stranger each way in race 5.
As your value on the card, Jonathan?
There's a lot of value. Like High Stranger's value, I think Music Bay's value each way in race 6.
Enough, mate, enough.
And Kurame and Ocean Mist in the last. So there's plenty of tips. We might as well lace Sparta if we're back in Lord
Yeah, well, you
Belvedere
might
as
as well not give out every single opportunity on the card too. Very generous from these two today. He's giving you an utter pearl with punting form, and now Jonathan's just giving away another horse.
Tipped him a 29 winner last start here too.
Oh, here we go. Still can't park your car. Peter, best value?
Best at Flemington. I'll throw out great again, Black Seal. That's what they call him.
For Uncle Lindsay.
Yeah.
The grey
Why
seal.
not?
Yeah, I love it.
Have sun now and then back it again if the rain comes on the day.
Yep,
Just
that's good. That's
keep
good
pushing.
information.
Because it's only
Value?
been shortened. Value? Oh, there's heaps of value.
We'll just try and pick one or two of them for the punter at home, please.
Which is the best of them? Look, I'd probably go back to, I think it was race 8, wasn't it? That was the one. Reykjavik and Asian Rook.
Joshy?
Best bet, I'm going to go up to Queensland for race 1, number 4, Invictus Prince. Hopefully Matt Smith takes it there instead of the Gold Coast. $5 at the moment. Get on. Robbie Fraud is on. Robbie Frad, sorry.
That was a slip of the tongue.
That was a
Yeah,
genuine
sorry,
slip of the
Robbie.
tongue. We're not alleging anything. We apologise.
Race 7, number 14 is the value bet over the Sky. And if anyone can get on course at Chinchilla back, race 5, number 4, Silent Flyer. Isabella Tegg gets the ride. She is flying. She'll be absolutely airborne from barrier 3. Chinchilla, race 5, number 4.
Jonathan's onto it. He's already bet.
I've got a client who owns the panel beating shop in Chinchilla.
On course, we'll get SP.
So I'll send him in, dig a hole under the fence, bring him up, put some cash and go, mate, I need to do a job for me.
All right, that's the show. Long one. Hope you enjoyed it. We've got accountable betting information via themailbag.com.au for Flemington on Saturday from me, Belmont and a little bit of Sydney maybe from you, Peter.
No chance, Sydney. Is that place
Shane
under-
Shirley has you covered in Queensland. I think it's a double header on Saturday, maybe a double header tomorrow. Top ahead, you'll find out. And we've got Rob Scurry up there in Sydney. We've also got Cam Dean doing AFL winning week last week. Starting to see him really well. And Tedeschi's flying in the NRL.
I hope he's back in Carlton tonight.
He is.
Go Blues.
I think he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're on the Blues tonight. But yeah, if you want to have accountable betting advice, your handheld, head to the mailbag.com.au. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching.